So what we're going to do is we're just going to take a couple of minutes to break through the Wales Italy game and to look at the Switzerland Turkey game ahead of the kickoffs at 5 o'clock. And this is going to be uploaded to YouTube, but I would say to anybody that watches this on YouTube, I will be doing other football discussions on my Twitch channel, which is just that Twitch TV Media ADL, and also be playing some games on there as well. So, taking a look, we'll start with Italy first. Italy made some slight rotations, taking off Locatelli and Immobile. Slight rotation. They're through. They're pretty confident, regardless of the results here, because they still don't want to lose to Wales here. They still want to top the group, but they do want to be able to try and rest some players, because they're probably not going to be able to rest them during the knockouts, obviously. Now, I think Italy have been sort of the pleasant surprise of the tournament under Roberto Mancini. They have played some exquisite football. Their pressing in the final third has been phenomenal. Their pace on the ball has been fantastic, and defensively, we've all seen the records that they've been setting. So, I think for Italy, it's going to be a fairly similar game plan to how they played against Switzerland and Turkey. I don't think they're going to be changing the nature of the way they're playing too much here. I think, obviously, you're going to have a slight change in the lineup, and we have to ask how often these players play together in the specific lineup. But I think, based on what we've seen so far and from Mancini, we would expect to see a fairly strong lineup, a very similar style of play, and consistently moving forward with the ball. They played on the front foot for the whole tournament, and I don't see that changing. And I would right now, based on the way they played in the groups, obviously Switzerland, Turkey, not exactly. People tip Turkey quite highly before coming into this game, but I'm not sure how. They're the youngest team in the tournament. I think this is some more inexperience. I think Turkey will be very good at future Euros and World Cups sort of in the next 2 to 4 years. But I think this one was still getting used to competitive tournament, international tournament football. As such, that's not disrespecting to either of those teams. I think they didn't make the Euros for being bad teams, but Italy have been, I think, underrated by people, and I think that Mancini is one of the better managers in an international tournament, and I would expect them to do pretty well in the knockouts. I would honestly say that they're my dark horse at this point. Well, not dark horse anymore, but that I would fancy them to potentially win the Euros. They may not have the best players in every position if you're looking at the France, Germany, Portugal squads and things, but I feel like they're a much better drilled team, both offensive and defensively. I mean, if you look at the attacking talent that Italy have, it's very good. I know a lot of the English viewers and things will dictate how good England's side is, but what you're seeing with Mancini and Southgate is quite clear in terms of their approach. Mancini is historically quite a defensive manager, and they have played substantially better football than Southgate's had England playing. The next point is going down to Wales. Wales line up pretty much as expected. They want to try and get something out of this game. Obviously, they've dropped Kiefer Moore, which I don't think should really be too much of a surprise to anybody, if you've been paying attention, to be blunt. What you're seeing is probably going to be very similar to the way Dan James was operating for Man United under Solskjaer against Liverpool and some of the other teams, where fundamentally they're going to play with two wingers, no out and out centre forward, and everybody else is going to drop behind the ball, and it's going to be on Ramsey and Morel to support on the breaks when they get the ball. The premise behind this is something that Solskjaer did very well against Klopp, which I think people don't give Solskjaer enough credit for. It is identifying that if they're going to push their fullbacks forward, which often happens with a back five, but Liverpool did it with a back four very successfully, just leaving their two centre backs. You leave a lot of space in between this gap here and this gap here. Especially if even if you're only pushing one, say Emerson pushes up here, and Rafael Toloni drops in and sort of creates a makeshift back three while Italy are pressing on the left hand side. What that does is that creates space either out wide, or depending on how if they go for a wide back three, if Bastoni moves across to fill in there with Bonucci expected to cover the middle, you're all of a sudden left with huge gaps in these regions where your traditional centre backs would be. Now with Bale's still pretty pacey. Obviously, he's not got the pace of old, but Dan James is rapid. Let's be honest. And the plan will be for them to break out there and exploit that space on the counter and try and get in behind Italy, and basically let Italy camp in their half of the pitch for most of the game. So you're going to see a lot of Italy on the ball, moving quickly, and I think it's actually going to be more difficult for Italy than it was against against Turkey. Because I think Turkey tried to play a little bit more into them. Switzerland played pretty naturally defensively from a standpoint, so I think it's going to be similar to that game in terms of as close as we've seen in the Euro so far. I fancy it with the slight Italian rotation, and with the threat of Bale and James, and Ramsey getting up there. I think Wales have got their tactics spot on. I think it's an execution. I think, being honest, Italy are the better team. But I think given that players probably haven't played together all that much from an Italian standpoint, in that specific team information, I think a 1-1 draw is probably going to be my prediction for that. And if we go to the other game, which is Switzerland-Turkey, obviously Switzerland need to set out to win this. Let's see if I can get the breakdown for the lineups. Hopefully they're kicking about somewhere. Alright, here we go. So, yeah, back five for Switzerland. Nothing too different. What we got in Turkey, pretty much the same formation as previous games. I mean, Turkey obviously are gonna need to just try and put on a bit of a show. The Rodonzo. Switzerland obviously need to win and hope Italy win. So Switzerland really need to step out onto the front foot here, and actually that's gonna cause them some issues. They're not naturally a super attacking team. They're very solid defensively. I like Shaqiri playing through the middle, and supporting the two strikers. I think it's a good setup for Switzerland, with the wing backs providing all of the natural width you're going to need. It means that there's probably going to be a lot on Granit Xhaka and Friula here to basically stifle the Turkish midfield and the Turkish counter attack. But it's a question of how much Turkey are up for this. I don't think they want to be embarrassed, considering they were reasonably well respected coming to this, and people thought that they might do surprisingly well. Yilmaz top striker. I can debate that till the cows come home with people, but fundamentally that's my belief. I think it's gonna be tough. I think it'll end up being a high scoring game because Switzerland really have to take it to them, and Turkey have nothing to lose. So this will probably be actually the more entertaining of the two games, but I think Switzerland will edge it because they have slightly more to play for, and therefore I think it comes down to how many can they score, and can Wales get anything against Italy. Obviously, if my previous prediction for Italy Wales is 1-1, doesn't really matter on the outcome of this game. But I think Switzerland will win this 2-1 and finish third, and I think they get through as best third place finisher. That's not because I don't think Turkey could win this game. I think if this was any other way around, I think I'd naturally fancy you know, if this was game one, I think I fancy Turkey. But I think given the nature and the headspace for a lot of players here, I think I'm gonna go Switzerland 2-1. Yeah, that's the breakdown for this one. I'm gonna put some other breakdowns for the upcoming kickoffs and my predictions for the rest of the tournament. I'm gonna wait till after the last group game. Once we know the structure for the knockout phases for who's playing who and where, because I think people haven't taken into consideration either home field advantage or just fundamentally the lack of travel. So once we're done with the group stages, I'll make a full prediction, piece out for where I think who's going to win where and why, and yeah, hopefully we'll go from there. And yeah, if anybody's got any further questions, please put them in the comments. Be happy to discuss them or drop into my Twitch chat. And yeah, otherwise, hopefully we get some good football this afternoon. And thank you for all for tuning in, for watching this and taking my thoughts. And yeah, if you want to make any changes, you want anything different, let me know. Otherwise, just drop me a follow on Twitch or subscription on YouTube. Both very much appreciated. Really helped me sort of start growing this and pushing the content out that I'd like to be doing more, and I'd like to try and get to the stage where we can get some interesting people on to talk about the future. So that's a long-term goal. But yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Ciao.